Boy kibble? Girl dinner? What the heck? Are we living in a cartoon now?
I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. No filter, I got no filter. No filter, I got no filter. No filter, I got no filter.
Forget girl dinner, men are now eating like dogs, literally. The viral boy kibble trend is taking over social media, and it's really simple. Ground beef.
This is a thing. Really.
And rice bowls, no frills, no fancy plating, just pure protein-packed fuel. Fitness fans say that they chow down up to 7 times a week to save money and pack on gains. Plus, it's cheap and easy. Some call it efficient, others call it sad, but nutritionists are saying it's probably a good idea to add some veggies to your boy kibble. So does it sound like a good meal to you? Let us know. And be sure to download Fox Local for live.
Okay. Boy kibble.
If you don't mind, it's supper time. Here you go, tasty dog food. I know it's tasty because it says so on the can.
There's something called girl dinner, but I don't know what it is.
Whatever you say, boomer. Okay, boomer.
But, yeah, the fact that they had to give it a name, yeah, it's beef and rice, which I don't know in the scheme of things, like historically, we used to have to eat beans and rice because, like, you know, times were tough and whatnot.
What's that stuff? I used to eat it all the time back in the day.
And these people are kind of sounding like they're whining about beef and rice, but they named it boy kibble. And they're like, we're eating the same thing all the time, and it's like super boring or whatever, but it's making us ripped, blah, blah, blah. I think it's funny because, you know, carnivores are like, we're eating the same things all the time. And we're not really griping about it, though. We are kind of happy with it because we're eating higher fat and we're satiated and typically happier with our meals. I mean, most carnivores. But the fact that they had to call it boy kibble is kind of interesting. But this is a play on words that we need to understand because there's something called girl dinner. So let's take a look at what girl dinner was. And I don't know how long ago this was because, I mean, this is dumb. So I didn't know about it. But it's a thing, man. So, I mean, it's trending. So I just wanted to look at it. And I got a point to all of this because I've got another clip that ties into both of these. So first, let's take a look at what the hell girl dinner is. Okay.
This is my meal. I call this girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner.
What is girl dinner? In May of 2023, TikToker Livy Marr seemed to have coined the phrase girl dinner in a video responding to another TikToker who had said the ideal meal is the imagined meal of a medieval peasant. Livy Marr shows her plate of breads and cheeses and says,
I call this girl dinner.
As the video went viral, the concept started to spread as other women showed off their various arrays of small portions that combined equal a meal.
Okay. Kind of makes sense, the label does, because I used to eat like that. Before I went carnivore, I would eat the little cheeses and the olives and the pickles and little Triscuits. And that's what I would have for dinner, but I didn't know it had a name. I actually ate that a lot. Probably 2 years before I went carnivore, back before 2020. When the heck did I go carnivore? 2022? I can't even remember. It's been over 3 years, so yeah, so 2022. But I used to eat this a lot. I'd have Triscuits. Ugh, God, I can't even imagine now. But Triscuits with little pepperonis and little tuna things and a small amount of fruit or whatever. So I didn't know I had a name, though. I swear I didn't. Like, I didn't know it was called girl dinner. That's funny. But it does look like something girls would. I mean, honestly, I can't see guys eating a plate of food that looks like this. It just, you know, I don't know. I'd have to call him kind of a wuss if he was eating something like that. But if it was a dude. So, okay.
The concept was big enough to gain recognition on Twitter, where users began to parody it with memes. Now, there's even a boy dinner variant, seeing men on TikTok showing what their dinner looks like.
This is my meal. I call this boy dinner.
The boy dinner concept also has garnered parodies on Twitter and TikTok, often with memes comparing boy dinner and girl dinner side by side.
This is my meal. I call
Okay. So that's pretty funny. But I didn't know it was a thing. Did you know this was a thing? I didn't know it was a thing, man. I didn't know we had girl dinners and boy kibble. And since this brings up the question that keeps coming up about macros when you're on a carnivore diet, I figured I would end it with some wise words from our fearless leader, the OG carnivore daddy, Shawn Baker, regarding macros.
Okay, people are asking me, about macronutrient ratios on a carnivore diet. Well, I mean, for most people, you're going to consume probably between 60 and 80% of your calories by percentage are going to come from fat, leaving the rest from largely protein. There might be some trace carbohydrates in there if you eat things like eggs and a little bit of dairy, but pretty much, 60% to 80% fat. That may vary a little bit from, there's some people at the extremes at that, some people with certain conditions might even go a little bit higher fat. And then at times, people when they're really trying to lean out, sometimes they'll go even lower on the fat percentage. I typically consume right at about 65 to 70% of my calories coming from fat.
Okay, so that's interesting, and I find that a lot of my, I don't like to use the word calories because calories are not a thing. That's just a unit of like heat measurement. Okay, but the bulk of my food that I consume is primarily fat. There's a lot of fat in there because I feel best when I do that. That's why I do it. Not because I'm calculating macros and all this kind of stuff, but he's trying to give people like a starting point, essentially. But when I do that, I feel the best. And sometimes I'll be eating a lot of fat and I'll feel like I'm going to yak.
I think I'm gonna hurl.
Because I'm just like, I don't want this right now, and my body will tell me if I've had too much or I need to back off or I don't need to eat because it'll make me feel kind of nauseous. But most of the time I hit the target correctly and I have the right, amount of food in front of me and I have the right combination of fat and protein and it just works out. But just don't take it from me.
Currently, I'm kind of leaning out, so that percentage is slightly lower. For instance, today I just had a big old 2.25 pound ribeye, probably 200 grams of fat in that thing, and I'll probably have close to 300 grams of protein today. All right, take care.
By the way, I love his shirt. I got to figure out where to get that shirt from. But anyway, I just thought this was really interesting. I kind of wanted to bring this up because I didn't know it was a thing. And I figured if I didn't know it was a thing, because God knows I don't surf around TikTok all day. Really at all, honestly. It's kind of a strange place. But I thought it was neat that it was some kind of a trend that they're basically meal prepping cheaper foods, which, I mean, real people that are grown have done this for, I don't know, forever. Like, you'll make a huge pot of something that you eat on, like, for a week because you can't make dinner. You don't have time, usually, to make dinner every single day. I mean, I do that all the time. Like, I'll make a big thing of soup. Like, I make this meat soup stuff, and I'll do that because you can just individually portion it out, have it ready to take to work during the week if you're going to eat lunch or whatever. But they're making it sound like, I mean, they're giving it a name and making a big deal out of it like they just invented it. They just invented portioning or something, or making food in bulk. But I think most of this is a bro culture. They're trying to get ripped and they're trying to eat more. And again, for economical reasons, which, rice and ground beef that's a fairly cheap meal. So, but they're adding the vegetables and all kind of stuff to it. Blech. You know, and the rice I can do without. But like I said, batching food though, not new. Boy Kibble. Yeah, interesting, right? Let me know what you think of this. And if you like the video, if you could hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. And make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future content. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.